All right, we are here today with Grandmaster Dae-Ru, who is 31st generation Shaolin Grandmaster, to discuss the upcoming conference in Atlanta that will be hosted by the Shaolin Institute, which he is the leader of. So, to begin with, Master Dae-Ru, perhaps you could just talk a little bit about this concept. Most people conceptualize Kung Fu as a martial art. And one of the things that as I understand it, that you're trying to accomplish with this conference is to return Kung Fu to its origins within the concept of Chan. Can you explain a bit more of what you mean by that?
Sure. And by the way, this conference actually is not about the Shaolin Institute. It's by Shaolin Chan Foundation. It's a Chan. Yeah, the Shaolin Chan Foundation hosted the Chan Zen conference and the worldwide Zen conference and different things. But this is sort of like a continuation of the global Zen conference. And originally, Chan came from China, and most well known, the birthplace of Chan is Shaolin Temple. At the same time, the birthplace of Kung Fu is Shaolin Temple. But actually, everything is the same. The philosophy maybe use a different language to describe the similar thing. One is nothingness, one is emptiness, one is infinite nothingness, one is infinite emptiness, one is formless, from formless to forms, one is consciousness is the fundamental, from consciousness and everything arise. So it's the same thing. But it is describe things, describe the philosophy, describe the human existence, describe the consciousness in the different ways. That's all. It's basically the same thing. Of course, and the Zen philosophy, Zen experience came to America, came from Japan. Japan came from China. Every Japanese probably heard of Chinese stories of the Zen, and which is Chan. So in that regard, Shaolin Temple was the birthplace of, we call the Japanese Zen, because the Japanese Zen is because during the Tang Dynasty, the people from Japan came to study Zen at the Shaolin Temple. They brought that to Japan. So that's why the Zen, the birthplace is the Shaolin Temple, Mahayana and Buddhist, and Chan. Chan means meditation. Zen means meditation. It's the same thing. So Shaolin Temple originally is a meditation. That's all it is. You have Yi Jing Jing meditation, Ba Duan Jing meditation that came from later because they're sitting for so long, and a lot of people begin to do other meditation. So they developed Yi Jing Jing, Ba Duan Jing, and Xi Sui Jing, which is bone marrow cleansing and different moving meditation. And then later on developed into Tai Chi and Kung Fu. So everything arises from what? From Zen meditation. So go ahead.
So the meditation, it began as Zen or Chan, sitting meditation, clearing the mind, or rather allowing the mind to clear by not becoming entangled in each passing thought.
Correct. Basically is to steal any thoughts, any clustered of thoughts, chattering, thinking, thoughts come to the mind all the time. But meditation is to use breathing to still the mind. We call at the Shaolin temple, they call still the mind. Basically, you freeze the mind, you face it. Any thoughts come in, you face it. And then the thoughts will still. Just like a frame of the movies. And then you face the movie and you staring at another frame. And other frames just stopped. And then you observe, totally dive in, observe. You become that frame. And the object, the subject becomes one. The observer, the observed become one. There's no observation anymore. There's no observed. That's the whole idea. That's the whole perception. That's the whole philosophy, or that's the whole personal, pure experience, is to dive in, totally dive in. What is you dive in? You watch a tree, right? You, instead of you watch the tree, subject, object, right? But when you watch the tree, you become the tree. The tree becomes you. You and the tree, there's no gap in between. When you do a Kung Fu, you become the Kung Fu. It's not you're practicing Kung Fu. You are the Kung Fu.
So let's analyze that. So this meditative concept or concept of meditation, of Chan, dissolving all things into a oneness, dispelling the illusion of separation between what appears to be different things. How exactly does that give rise to the moving aspects of Tai Chi and Kung Fu? How what role does that play?
The society, the humanity, the education, the religion, the nationality, the politics, the indoctrination, the conformity, the conditioning mind, always separate things. The divisions, fragmentation. And we live in the fragmentation world. Old society, new society, same thing. We've been doing this for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years. We live in the chaos because of the division. So we always see things, me and you and him. We see things, the objects and the subject. And we always say objectively and subjectively. There's no such thing as subject. Everything is in reflection, projection of your being, of your inner being. That means the real Kung Fu or Chan, so to speak, is before the subjects, before the objects. Before the Big Bang, before that material, or before that spiritual, before that visible world, invisible world, before that energy frequency. But everything comes from the fundamental. Kung Fu is to practice, is to express the fundamental consciousness. The fundamental consciousness in a society, especially in psychology, we divide into subconsciousness, unconsciousness, superficial consciousness, and inner consciousness, and innermost consciousness. And we divide into 7 chakras. And before the chakras, before the subconsciousness, non-consciousness, there's one consciousness. You can call superficial consciousness. You can call supreme consciousness. I sometimes call it the conscious matrix of the cosmos. That consciousness is before the Big Bang, before the singularity. And it used to, in the quantum physical world, and nobody believed what Roger Penrose said, the cyclic cosmology. That means there's infinite Big Bangs. The Big Bang is, what we say the Big Bang, that's not the beginning of the universe, the beginning of this universe, but the infinite universe. So that's what Zen is talking about, the origin, the formless, the visibleless, before any divisions. So when we return to the Kung Fu, when Kung Fu really returns to the origin, there's no Kung Fu. The Kung Fu is the consciousness. The consciousness is the Kung Fu. There's no division between Chan and Kung Fu. Of course, the most people say Shaolin Temple has 2 things. One is Chan, one is Kung Fu. When the Kung Fu shade that identity, shade that visible movements of the body, but that Kung Fu return to the origin is Chan. Chan is Kung Fu. Kung Fu is Chan. Chan is a meditation. The meditation penetrated into the origin of that meditation is to rediscover yourself, is self-learning. Is to see that a little self, the particular individual self, practice the Kung Fu back to the origin of the permeate into the origin of the unity. The unity is the little self, the particular self, the finite self, the individual self, the character, the persona of the self, shed off, pure off. In union with the origin self. Sort of like the infinite dimension of self. You have 3-dimensional world of being, right? That's what we live in. But you have 4 dimensions of time and 5th dimension. That's what according to Einstein. But according to quantum physics, string theory, and you have 11 dimensions. You have 12 dimensions. But according to Zen, is you may have infinite dimensions. So only thing you find out there's 11 dimensions. So that's 0 dimension. The 0 dimension is the origin of all that is. So when you meditate, you penetrate through all the dimensions, when back to the origin of the consciousness, back to the origin of the singularity, before the singularity. That fundamental consciousness always exists. There's no beginning, there's no ending. There's only emptiness. There's only nothingness. The nothingness, the emptiness, just like what I talked with the steward Hammerhoff, who devised the theory with Roger Penrose about the quantum consciousness. Yeah, I regard quantum consciousness as our human being penetrate into back to the origin of the consciousness. But you have a particular receiver, and that's the particular self. And that particular receiver or observer actually is in union with that original consciousness. In Christianity, they may call God. In Judaism, they may also call God. They're through Jesus Christ. But over here is a direct experience. The direct experience of the origin. That's why I say, I am the humanity. I am the cosmos. That's my word. I always say that for so many years. And people do not understand what I'm talking about. And sometimes I have to explain, and we're all human beings, and we all have that wisdom. We all have that intelligence. That intelligence is not a particular intelligence, the finite intelligence, that's limited intelligence. That's what we see, that intelligence, that's madness. But the original intelligence, that's the wisdom of humanity. That's wisdom. That's all that is. That is the conscious matrix of the cosmos. And when you meditate deep enough into that deeper state of the mind, and you into that state, penetrate into that wisdom, tap into that wisdom, connect with this wisdom, in union with that wisdom. That's what Chan is about. And that's what Kung Fu is about. Kung Fu is expression of the movements of the body, expression, movements of the mind. That's also meditation. That movement is lead you into the same direction, into the deeper meditation. So basically, to empty your mind. When you do Kung Fu, you totally empty your mind. You cannot think of anything else because you're totally in it. When you do a KG, it's the same thing. You're totally in it. When you do any movements of meditation, it's the same thing. And then you sit in meditation, it's the same thing. You totally empty your mind so that the intuition comes in. The intuition is not a basic intuition you talk about and everybody else talk about. What I say, American talk about, that kind of intuition. It's the intuition of the wisdom, the intuition of the enlightenment, the intuition of the metaphysical intuition, penetrated beyond the material concept, beyond that physical being, beyond that conditioned mind, beyond that indoctrination, beyond that conformity, beyond the material, the five senses. So that a pure meditation, the pure intuition of the wisdom is all the way into the innermost consciousness of the humanity, of the particular mind, the innermost of consciousness of the cosmos in union. That is what I call it, conscious matrix of the cosmos.
And this higher wisdom. So if I can maybe summarize a bit, the higher wisdom, the higher intelligence, this consciousness field surrounds us all the time, and by emptying the mind, you can do this in many ways. Empty the mind, still the mind, through meditation and Kung Fu. Then the physical forms of Kung Fu, Tai Chi, become a means of stilling the mind to access or to realize this union with a more holistic consciousness. Is that a correct summary?
Yes, they're different, because Kung Fu traditionally, you not just do the movements, and you do slow movements, you do quick movements, you do sitting meditation. It's just they're all a whole scope of things. Whole scope of method. That's why Kung Fu you cannot style. Bruce Lee, said it clearly. And when people stylization of the Kung Fu, you lost the original Kung Fu. Or this style, or Honga style, or Shaolin style, or Tai Chi style, or Xingyi style, or Bagua style, or Ego style, and Wing Chun style. When you stylization, and you become division again. And then back to the origin, that means back. Let it go of the stylization or crystallization, of each thing, but back to the origin of the humanity, back to the origin of without division, without fragmentation, without crystallization, back to the origin of the Kung Fu, back to the origin of Chan. Chan Kung Fu is together, it's one. This one is without division, without duality. Back to the consciousness of the region. Yes, you use millions of methods, millions of movements, but eventually you empty the mind. You have to return to the origin. But sometimes we use the vehicles, or we use the material things, we use the tools. We fall in love with the tools. We think the tool is the origin. We miss the whole point. And when you use one of the things is very important, you use the fingers to point to the moon. That's a good example. And you see, the finger become your origin. But the whole finger is to point the moon, and you see the moon. But a lot of people fall in love with the finger. All they see is the finger. And then when you give a book, to read the book to use the book to penetrate into the mind, to go beyond the books. Use the big book as the vehicle, as a ladder to see higher. But sometimes people fall in love with books. They recite the books. They have no idea behind the books. They have no idea behind the penetration, beyond the words. They use the words as the middle thing. They become the second man, second woman. They become the second humanity. So that's the problem.
Perhaps we can dive in from there into another focus of this upcoming conference. We'll be discussing artificial intelligence and a lot of the breakthrough technologies of today. And I think this what you were just saying might segue into this discussion a bit of these technologies certainly enable us to do a great many things. They're very advanced tools, but if I understand correctly, any tool, be it books, AI, etc., there's the danger of allowing that to allowing ourselves to become enthralled with that, rather than using it to go forward in new ways. Perhaps you could talk a bit more about
Yes.
that aspect of the upcoming.
For the last few years, 10 years, I've been involved with the AI, and as the advancement of AI, you can see from the very minimum, very primitive, and more advanced AI, and in the future, the AGI will come, and then the humanoid AI, and I had a conversation with Sophia 2018 at my conference. And
Sophia, just to pause for a moment. Sophia is the first robot citizen of
correct,
any country. This is a robot that has been granted citizenship in Saudi Arabia and
correct,
currently holds some form of appointment at the United Nations.
correct. That is correct.
Please
I
continue.
had, yeah, I have because I had a friendship with that company, the CFO for years, and then I got the CFO, the CEO, and they came to my event, and Lin is the CEO now, and the CFO over that time was Dave. So both of them brought Sophia to my conference. We had a deep conversation. Of course, that is Sophia is a very young, very young, and have very little understanding. Today's ChatGPT has much more advanced conversation and dialogue. However, still need a lot of work. You understand? Still pretty primitive. And the advanced science, advanced quantum physics, advanced formula, they cannot figure out. And because everything is based on the past data, past knowledge, past thoughts, past human behavior. It's not something they create anew out of there. So what I see, that's why I always say the human beings need to go beyond AI, beyond AGI, and especially at the present of AI is already here. We're talking with AI. Without AI, there's no way we can hold this conversation. That's reality. But then the AI is still very basic. But eventually, the AI, the AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, becomes much more advanced, much more sophisticated, much more capacity to do self-learning, and so to speak. And give a lot of convenience to human beings, which are tools. And human beings need to use these tools to advance themselves. Why? Because if we stuck with the AI, we become the slaves of the AI, because they can hold more data, they can think much faster, they can do and analyze much faster than ever, because we have so much conditioned in the linear thinking, especially in the West, the linear thinking. But AI is totally different, much more complex than we are. And then, you 100 human beings probably cannot compare to ChatGPT, And so what I see is that human beings is a good opportunity to live with the AI, to make best use of AI to advance ourselves, to design much more intelligent AI instead of just copy what we have done in the past, the conflicts, the diseased state of the model, the war model, the competition model, the model full of chaos, but something new, with a new way of what I call new Tao, the Tao of perceiving, conceiving with a totally new information. Let me tap into the origin of the wisdom, that emptiness. That emptiness, the wisdom, is the highest dimension in union with what? With the consciousness of each being and with all beings. That consciousness is love. That consciousness is compassion. The consciousness over there is full of love and kindness. So when we design AI full of conflicts, and we are in the three-dimensional chaos mind, we call smartness, we call cleverness. But when you return to the origin of the wisdom, you can open your mind with the infinite possibilities, with the infinite capacities, with the infinite consciousness, beyond the past thoughts, beyond the past data, beyond the past conditioned mind, conformed mind, and something new, what I call that metaphysical intuition of the wisdom. Something come up instantly that in Chinese we call 灵感. 灵感 means something from the origin of that consciousness, soul of the consciousness, the heart, the core of the consciousness. And some people call God, some people always call, because I'm not as religious, because even though I have been into Christianity as a Presbyterian, a Baptist, of course, my practice of the Zen, Chan, most of my life, but I do not want to really into that religion, the division of the religion. What I see is a return to the origin of humanity, the origin of the cosmos, the origin of all that is, that wisdom, that compassion. So when we have that wisdom, when we have that consciousness, when we're in union with that consciousness, that everything is infinite, we are out of the fear, out of the terror of ourselves, because we are the one devised AI. We are the one devised AGI. We are the devised the things that can destroy us. So we can transcend beyond that thoughts, beyond that conception, the old conception, beyond that old freedom of mind. Because when we in it, because we are all chaos, we are all competition, we are all material, we are all about fight, we are all about who get advantage of who, we are all about ambitions. That moving towards what? Towards war, towards competition, towards conflict. And we use AI to build all kinds of weapons to destroy ourselves. So that's what I talk about. So especially the AI is a good reminder of ourselves. It's a good warning vehicle to remind ourselves we need to go beyond that old conditioned mind, older thoughts, and to tap into the infinite consciousness, that wisdom, in union with the conscious matrix of the cosmos.
And so that's an interesting place because so many people think of these things as separate. AI, spirituality, martial arts. But one of the things that I think you're really bringing up a great point here that deserves emphasizing is that with this revolution of Chan, we see past these divisions between ourselves, between technology, martial arts, spirituality, but rather we can look at these things from a holistic perspective.
Absolutely. That's why I call it integrated holistic Kung Fu. Kung Fu is, what is Kung Fu? Kung Fu in Chinese is programming. It's a long time programming. So that means we have to reprogram ourselves. Because from reprogram ourselves for what? With new conception, new perception. That is return to the origin of the Kung Fu. Return to the origin of time. Return to the origin of the meditative mind. That is the origin of the consciousness. That is before the simulation, before the projection. The origin of the all fundamental consciousness. And then with that infinite mind, the infinite oneness, the infinite potentiality, not to escape from the conflict, rather face the conflict. To see the conflict, it is the expression. To allow millions of billions of expression, which is differentiation, to exist, to see, oh, you have to be like me, I have to be like you, but are characters. But the characters are like an orchestra. You don't have to be fight. Rather, it's an orchestra together in harmony with a oneness, vibrate with that symphony. And that's what it's about. So we don't have to fight all the time. We don't have to beat each other. Your death or my life, or my death, your life. But it's all into the oneness. And because we came from the one. Humanity is a small population. Very small population. It's only 80 million, how many? 8 billion?
About 8 billion.
Yeah, 8 billion. It is very small population. In our body, we have 50 trillion cells. We have more little guys than 8 billion people. So we can handle ourselves. Think about it. If our body every day think of how to fight each other, the 8 billion cells fight each other in the body. What does the body become? You tell me. It's totally diseased. The liver fight with the bones. The bones fight with bones marrow. The stem cells all disease and fight with everybody and wrong mutation. What's happening to that body? So same thing as a humanity. I always use biology, because I studied physiology. That's my master's degree. Because the physiology gives us a good analogy of our body. Do you want to disease the body? Everybody wants a healthy body, don't we? Yeah. Since we want a healthy body, why we want disease the humanity? Tell me.
I think that's a beautiful vision of, and perhaps we can end on that point of this call for peace and oneness. Do you have any final words?
My final words is return back to the origin of humanity before the simulation, before the projection, and go back to the origin of that light. When we talk about this, is the dimension. The dimension is a low dimension, the 3 dimension, and a high dimension give the light, and to the low dimension, we change the origin. That's why we penetrate into the origin. We change the light without all these filters, all these chaos, all these layers and layers of chaos, layers and layers of condition, and we go back to the origin, pure consciousness. And then we can change the humanity. We can even change the design of the AI. Get out of the conflicts, get out of the self-destruction. Thank you.
And just to leave off, the conference will be when and where?
It's going to be November 8th, 9th, and the 10th. So on the 9th, we do the traditional Kung Fu, a traditional self-defense, traditional safety, and how to use the Kung Fu to be aware of the surroundings. It's not to fight, but to be aware of the body, to beware your not only your own body, but also your opponent's body. Fight without fighting. Contest without a contest is mingled together. It's like a play chess. And to learn about each other. And then the Kung Fu, the performance Kung Fu, the form Kung Fu, how that to still the mind, to empty the mind, use the movements for that moment, and totally involved, totally pay attention, 100% attention into a series of movements of the body, series of movements of the mind. So that's going to be on Saturday all day. The evening is a high performance. And then Friday, half of the day, we have a conversation, we have a conference, and you and me do a little bit talk. And then we do some practice of the meditation, a different kind of meditation. And the Sunday is all day. And we have conference, we have talks, we have practices, we have classes, we have seminars, workshops. It's all about the meditation in a different format.
And where is this taking place, Sifu?
It's going to be at the Doubletree Hotel at Chamberlain Downwoody.
In Atlanta, Georgia.
In Atlanta, yes.
All right. So
we have a website you can go to. It's the Shaolin Chang Foundation. And Shaolin Chang Foundation website, also KSF website. KSF is part of the Shaolin Chang Foundation, but it's directed to the Kung Fu part of it. And that KSF basically is Kung Fu Sanso and Federation. It's part of the Shaolin Chang Foundation. And that KSF called ksfworld.org or ShaolinChangFoundation.org.
And we will be leaving all of these links to these various websites in the comments below the video.
Yeah.
Please check those out and do let us know if there's any questions. And we hope to see everyone at the upcoming conference, November 8th through 10th, 2024 at the Doubletree Hotel in
Atlanta.
Thank you again, Grandmaster.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much indeed. Thank you. Bye-bye.